Thank you to Damien L14 for their support as a YouTube member. Hello everyone, my name is Vivian, and welcome back to Temptations Ballad. It has been a long time coming, but I know you've been waiting for it because I've gotten a lot of friggin' comments about it. A lot of comments, but it is okay. It has been worth it because for those of you who have been following the Twitter activity of the creator of this game, Shirokoi, you know the reason why it has been taking so long for this update to come out. It is because the other game being developed by this by this dev, Repeat, has been getting an overhaul. And that is why this game was taking so long for me to update, is because this game itself was taking a while to get updated because the other game was getting updated extensively. And I cannot wait to see this extensive updating. So, but this just came out. This update became publicly available. I'm recording this on the 30th of May, and it was like 2 days ago, I believe this became publicly available, so let's just fucking go. Let's do this shiz. Dots. Sleep weight over cold like a heavy blanket. Oh, have you ever got one of those weighted blankets? They're nice. His whole body felt like lead. Not an ounce of strength was left in him. You could sleep like this for a month and still feel like a wet rag. Let him rest just a little longer. Oh, holy moly! Cole suddenly felt a sharp zap of energy course through his body, and he shot up eyes wide. His fur stood on end, magic prickling through him like 1,000 tiny static needles. Ow! What the hell? You gotta get a defibrillator style. His vision finally returned to reveal Artemy and Sid hovering over him and with worried looks. Boss, you're finally awake! Are you feeling okay? Ugh, my head. Please sit still, Cole. I haven't finished healing you yet. That was healing magic? I felt like you were trying to shock me to death with a bunch of little lightning bolts. Artemy tried her best to look annoyed through her cloud of worry. I'm afraid all of my spells are aspected with lightning. Even my healing. There's not much I can do about it. It may be a bit unpleasant, but you can't deny its efficacy. Well, damn, yeah, all of his stuff went away in this one sprite transition. God damn! Cole glanced down. Sure enough, most of the minor injuries he had suffered had completely healed over. The puncture wounds in his shoulder and thigh were still painfully sore, but the flesh had scabbed over with what looked like weeks of recovery. What happened? How long was I out for? About an hour or so. Sir Hamish already gave his report on what happened. He explained how the cloaked mage had sent a demon to attack you and other festival goers. Artemy let out a low growl of frustration. How utterly despicable. I should have been there to help defend you. Instead, I was frivolously wasting time at the joust. Sid's large hands rested comfortingly on both their shoulders. We're just glad you're okay, boss. How are you feeling? Cole groaned and rubbed his eyes. Alive. That's all I can ask for, really. He glanced around and finally noticed his surroundings. There were tents lining the streets as medics attended to the people recovering from the mass fainting episode. Church nights and the city watch were posted at every street corner. Looked like things were under control, at least. Cole struggled onto his feet and winced at the sudden stab of pain. "You shouldn't be moving so soon!" He ignored Artemy's protest and rubbed his eyes tiredly. All the scratches are back. Where did Hamish go? Well, after the knights in the city watch secured the arena, he ran off to investigate where the demon flew off to. Hey, where do you think you're going? I need to talk to Hamish. It's urgent. So a small smile spread across Cole's face as his companions immediately stood up to follow him. It was almost heartwarming, if a bit nosy. It's a private talk. Why don't you two go investigate the scene of the battle for some clues? We're not leaving you alone, boss. What if that demon shows up again? I'll be fine. The demon won't be making any moves after the beating Hamish gave them. You guys are more clear-headed than I am right now. You'll be more useful in the investigation. The two began to protest, but Cole waved his hand dismissively. I'll be fine. Plus, what will people think if the Chosen One is babysitting me instead of helping the wounded? Artemy crossed her arms reluctantly. I suppose, if you insist. However, if you are in need of aid, yell and I will come running. She gave a curt bow before marching toward the tent area. What? You're not gonna go all mother hen on me again, are you? Sid shook his head with a small smile. Nah. I just figured you'd want to know how the brawling tournament turned out. Clyde's got a bunch of sponsors just lining up to invest in his future blacksmithing plans. Hey, well, plan went successfully. Is he gonna bust him? I feel like he's gonna bust him. I feel like my laundry in the background's louder than fucking ever. Thank you. Your little scheme worked like a charm. Cole felt a flash of triumph that was quickly replaced by guilt. That's good. Did you... No... Sid let out a small chuckle and nodded. Thanks for having faith in me. But next time, you don't have to trick me into it. Sid kneeled down and placed a firm hand on Cole's shoulder. His grip felt warm and affirming against Cole's cold, ragged skin. You're not alone anymore. If there's anything you need, please, just ask. Cole's stomach lurched at this candid and undeserved display of trust. He suddenly felt a little sick. Yeah, thanks, man. I should really get going now, though. He hastily turned to leave, but stopped as a thought crossed his mind. Say, while you're out there investigating, could you do me a favor? During the fight, I vaguely remember, accidentally blowing up Clyde's shop. Again. Could you go check and make sure he's alright? If he needs help paying for the damages, use your tournament winnings to help him out and I'll pay you back later. Gotcha. Are you sure you don't want to come with me? I'm sure Clyde would be happy to talk with you again. Cole shook his head furiously. Before the fight, the demon disguised herself as Clyde and said some things. I don't think I'm really in the headspace for a heart-to-heart right now.
Oh. Alright. Are you sure you should be talking to Hamish then?
The guy's had to deal with me for 23 years. I'm sure he can handle whatever I have to say. Cole gave Sid a reassuring pat before making his way down the street on unsteady legs. Sorry. Sid watched the little hyena leave with a concerned look. He was putting on a brave face, but something about Cole felt a little off.
I really shouldn't leave him alone right now.
Who are we gonna follow? Oh my god, are we doing a Phoenix right now?
Let's see. Where should we investigate first?
The inconspicuous boot? Should we assist the wounded, investigate the scene of the battle, or investigate Soul's arcane curiosities shop? Well, presuming that we can do all of these, I don't think there's anything that we're gonna learn at the arcane curiosity shop. The boot could just be a red herring, but it also, like, you're putting literally you're labeling it as inconspicuous. So it could be a double fake psychology. You're literally putting something that is inconspicuous, which makes it suspicious, but then you could be like, it literally was nothing. I could see Shirakoi doing that. Assisting the wounded obviously would be a good thing to do, but they are also seemingly covered by a bunch of medics. But you'd also learn a lot about their battle wounds, and then investigate the scene of the battle. I think that would be a pretty good thing to do. I want to look at the boot first. Oh, we get the silly shit first. We get the silly shit music.
Among the rubble and trash scattered around the street was a peculiar dirty boot. Nobody paid it any mind as medics and knights rushed up and down the street to tend to the wounded. It was just a regular old boot after all. Why bother? After roughly an hour of lying on the ground like a perfectly normal object, the boot suddenly shuddered.
Oh my god! Of course! This is fucking, what's that game? Where Markiplier plays it all the time with his friends. You hide his objects. I can't remember.
And then wiggled a little more.
You fucker!
Abruptly, in a flash of arcane light, the boot exploded in a cloud of mist.
Wait a minute! Oh, yeah. I thought it was gonna be the fucking... I forgot about you. I forgot about you. You schmarmy fuck.
The thick smoke lingered for a moment before dissipating to reveal an extremely confused Calder. What? What? Where am I? That witch! Is she gone? Calder furiously scanned his surroundings and breathed a sigh of relief. Thankfully, the terrifying visage of the floating bird was nowhere to be found. He was safe, for now. He had half the mind to press charges for the emotional torment that Shrike?
Shrike? Ooh, I don't know if that's... What word are you putting in my mouth, man? Shrike definition. A songbird with a strong, sharply hooked tail, often impaling its prey for small birds, lizards, and insects of thorns. Damn. A songbird who stabs their prey with their face. Christ.
Put him through. But he had the distinct feeling that not even the entirety of the city's knights' forces could hope to hinder that woman.
It's funny narrating this because Colin around, so it's Sid talking about his mother that way.
Calder clutched his chest and let out a drained sigh. He should be happy to even be alive. But What in the world happened here? The streets look... The street looks like a war zone.
I'm just gonna go back to... Sid does not appear to be in this scene, so I'm just gonna narrate this with the normal voice. The noble flinched as another squad of medics rushed past him with fresh supplies. It appeared that the festival did not go as planned. The wounded folks in the tents don't look too injured, though.
Well, I suppose I should be thankful for whatever this disaster is. Hopefully the ruckus has driven attention away from my unfortunate tournament results.
Calder shuddered. Embarrassing himself in front of a crowd was one thing. If word gets back to grandfather that he failed so utterly... Oh, Christ. A sharp caw of a raven suddenly pierced the air. Calder felt his blood run cold. The messenger raven circled above him like a vulture eyeing fresh carrion. It flapped its wings harshly against the cold air before descending. Calder gulped as the raven landed before him and extended its leg, where a small note was attached. The bird stared at him expectantly. Calder wrung his hands for several moments before gingerly plucking the note from its leg. He unfolded the note and was greeted with grandfather's cold, harsh handwriting. Word has reached me about your blunder at the Firefly Festival tournament. It seems you've made an embarrassment out of our family yet again. Return home immediately. You will be dealt with. Gaius O'Shaughnessy. Oh, you're fucked now. All of the warmth drained from Calder's face as he scanned through the letter. He couldn't go home and face grandfather like this. Surely there was something he could... An idea flickered through his mind as he glanced at the messenger raven. Calder quickly rolled up the note and pointed a finger at the bird. Suggestion. The raven froze in a daze as he hastily retied to note, imagine that's the note, onto its leg. Fly around the city in a confused manner, then return home late at night. Give grandfather the impression that you failed to locate me and deliver the note. Understood? The raven nodded blankly before fluttering off into the sky. You just killed that bird. You asshole. Calder let out an exhausted sigh. I suppose I shall avoid going home for the time being, until grandfather has cooled off a bit. Though it'll mean staying at an inn among the peasantry for several nights. The thought of it. The noble shuddered as he held back a gag. Even if he had to demean himself, it was a fair price to avoid grandfather's wrath. Now he just had to find a semi-tolerable inn around here. I wonder which one he will find. Surely he can just book a room in the most expensive one. Oh, well. You just got pickpocketed, my friend. Yoy, yoy, yoy. In case that happened too quickly, or those of you who watch or listen to these things while you do other things in other tabs or anything like that, it happened so fast I didn't get a chance to narrate it, so let me go back for you. I'll be taking that off your hands. That was Emo, the little pickpocketer cat, who just yoinked his fucking purse from him. What? Before he could blink, the urchin was dashing down the street with a giddy laugh. Calder patted his empty pockets as panic slowly set in. Does no one around here know how to tie anything? It's a knot. I get that zippers are probably not a thing, but like, seriously.
My wallet! Get back here, you scum! Wait!
Man, a lot of shit happens on this one street. Okay, so we appear to be able to do all of the things on this street. Let's go to the curiosity shop then. Oh god, the disrepair of this shop. Sid will definitely be here, so let's go back to narrating in his voice.
Well, this was an awkward sight, to say the least. Sid gulped.
Oh, well, if you're gonna refer to him in the third person, I guess it's just gotta be me. It's gotta be me. Sid gulped nervously as he approached the smoking shop of Soul's arcane curiosities. The store looked even worse than when he had crashed a merchant cart through their front door. Burn marks plastered the walls and merchandise lay scattered across the floor. Jagged cracks decorated the edges of the massive hole that resulted from Cole's explosive getaway. Standing alone at the center of the shop and staring solemnly at this mess was Clyde. The tiger looked up as Sid approached, a tired expression weighing heavy across his face.
Hey. Is Cole doing okay? Oh, he seems to have healed up smoothly. Should be fine after a bit of rest. He's well enough to run off and handle some urgent stuff. More importantly, are you doing okay?
Clyde quietly turned back towards his mess of a shop.
Hard to say. I ran back here to find Saul, but it turned out the old geezer didn't even leave the medic wing today. Got one hell of a talking to for letting the shop get blown up.
Letting it get blown? Like, come on. The tiger leaned back with a strained sigh.
But by some miracle, I didn't get fired. Which is nice and all, but after hearing about this disaster, most of the investors got more cautious about supporting me.
What the fuck? How would it... Come on! How could he possibly get blamed? Like, this is not fair on so many levels. Like, I know being unjustly blamed for shit is like Clyde's biggest hobby, but like, there's no way. there's no, like, it's like getting blamed for getting hit by a tornado. Like, it's not fair.
Probably because I'm gonna be ass deep in debt trying to pay off this mess.
Clyde gestured at the smoking remains of the shop.
Anyway, glad to hear Cole's up and running again. But not well to swing by and say hi, apparently.
Sid scratched his head awkwardly as he struggled to find something to say. The tiger's expression was unmoving and unreadable as stone.
Hey, listen. I know there's a lot of complicated stuff between you two right now, but Cole didn't mean any harm by tricking you. He just wanted you to be at the tournament to see so that you'd get the recognition you deserve. It wasn't his fault he got attacked. Cole just wants what's best for you, you know?
Oh boy. Oh man. Oh boy. Something snapped in Clyde as he turned around.
Then why won't he talk to me? If he cares so much, why not just tell me? Enough games, enough scheming behind my back.
Clyde's head hung low, his eyes shut.
We used to be best friends, and then suddenly he'd avoid me for months on end and then pretend nothing happened.
not a mind reader. If he wants to mend things, he can just come talk to me himself instead of sending me his new lackey to do the job. Sid grew quiet. Clyde seemed to catch himself and shook his head apologetically. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound... I'm not mad at you. Sid shook his head with a smile. Nah, you're right, honestly. Cole's a bit of a mess. Clyde suddenly burst into a small laugh. You're telling me. Sid paused. He's trying, though. Don't get me wrong. He's been stumbling like a madman from what I can see, but he's also trying so hard. Give him a bit more time. He'll come through eventually. Clyde lifted his head. His gaze fixed on Sid with a look of wistful consideration. I've waited over 8 years. That's a lot of time he's asking for. The two of them jumped at the sound of the doorbell jingling. Which is quite a feat, since the shop's front door was blasted into splinters of wood across the floor. Maeve Osmia poked her head through the gaping hole in the wall, her hand gently tapping on the burnt doorbell. Apologies for the intrusion. I am the festival organizer and have come to assess the damages. Is it all right if I come in? Clyde let out a laugh and scratched his head. Y'all, this is a store. You don't have to knock. Especially since we ain't got a front door anymore. Ah, then allow me to offer my assistance to your door problem. The Festival Organization Committee has money set aside to pay for these damages. It is our duty to ensure your safety, and we have evidently failed. The least we could do is help your business recover. Well now, that's surprisingly decent of you. Thanks, lass. I'll take whatever help I can get. Sid shot a nervous glance towards Maeve, but the noble seemed unbothered by being addressed so casually. Perhaps there is more I can offer? My house has great interest in your blacksmithing skills, especially after seeing your creation at work in the tournament. Though House Osmia has no interest in weaponry, we wish to invest in enchanted tools and devices to aid my countrymen's work in the fields. Clyde scratched his head. I suppose I can do that. A farmer's sickle ain't that different from an axe. What are you offering for my services? The noble studied the wrecked store with a calculating look. Money will not be a problem. We can build a small forge in the back of this shop and refer you to our suppliers for a start. All we ask in return is your skills in creating tools that will help my countrymen's work. Clyde was stunned. That's more than I was expecting. He let out a delighted laugh. How could I say no to such an offer? Of course I'd accept. You've made yourself a very grateful friend today, lass. The noble smiled underneath her silvery veil. That is wonderful to hear. The druids of the exterior have precious few friends within the city. We are always honored to find more. Sid watched their exchange with a sense of relief. Well, they suffered a few stumbles, but it looked like Cole's plan to get Clyde's career back on track worked out. A small part of Sid wished Cole was here to see this, and maybe a little less stubbornly scheming. Of course, now Cole doesn't get the opportunity to help Clyde out monetarily. That might be a bit of a cock-blocking scenario in terms of, like, you know, whatever. I don't know if that'll come into it later, but who knows? He sighed. Sid gave Clyde a quick congratulatory pat, before leaving for the streets once more. There was a nagging feeling in his gut that told him to find Cole again. The little hyena seemed to have a bad habit of trotting waist deep into trouble when left alone.